Hi, and thanks for joining me for this practice today. It's a HaTha practice, so basically starting with some dynamic postures just to get a little bit of heat into the body, and then taking longer held, very soft postures, trying to focus more on just relaxing and letting go of effort. So that balance of effort and ease, that is always part of our practice, but here focusing first part on a little bit of effort and second part on being very, very soft. And you can think of it almost like a pranayama practice, perhaps, where your body is in a few different positions. As always, if you've got questions or comments, please just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And with that said, let's start with a little forward stretch in child's pose. You can either have the toes tucked or not, your choice. I prefer to have them tucked, but it really doesn't matter. Just reach out from your hips into your hands, making sure that the hands are a good shoulder width apart. And take a little mental scan through your body, taking note of anywhere where you're sore or if you're feeling tired, physically or mentally. If you've got any injuries, remember just to be sensitive to them and not do anything that aggravates the body. After taking one more calm breath here, lift up into kneeling plank, checking that the hands are under the shoulders. And just start to bring some movement into your spine. Don't think about it too much, but just start to move in a way that feels beneficial. Again, it's an opportunity to check in with how your body's feeling and how it's moving right at this point in time. Remembering always that our practice is primarily about the spine. The arms and legs are used to manipulate Merudanda. So making your way back to a neutral kneeling plank. You can either stay with the knees down, or if you're comfortable to do so, pick up the knees into full plank. Take a breath or two. They're always breathing through the nose, both in and out. And if you're comfortable, just drop your heels to the right, but try to keep the weight in both hands equally. From there, gently come back to the center and drop your heels to the left. Or of course, just stay centered the whole time. So again, shifting the weight a little now into the right hand. And after breathing out once more, come back to the center. Take a smooth breath in here. And after breathing out, press your way back into downward facing dog. Again, just check, hands should be shoulder width or maybe a fraction wider, feet hip width. Give your head a little roll to start with, just softening the back of the neck. And make sure you're rolling your shoulders out to the sides away from your ears. You might like to just gently pedal out through the knees. And after exhaling once more there, come into a twist. So take the right hand to the left calf or ankle and turn and look under your left arm. Keep pressing down through the heels. And after exhaling once more, just swap over to the other side. Just holding knee, calf or ankle. Make sure you're not tensing the neck, so still maybe giving the head a little roll. And after breathing out once more, come back again into the symmetrical down dog. Just holding there for one or two more breaths. You might like to tilt the tailbone up as you press down through heels and hands. After your next exhalation, bring your feet forward to the front of your mat. Just let the body hang forward with your feet comfortably apart. Gently walk out through the knees, just helping to warm up the backs of the legs a little. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, bend your knees a little, press your hips forward, stand and reach up to the fingers. Then interlacing your fingers, press up through the palms as you exhale. Taking one more breath, see if you can arch up, pressing through the hands, lift the collarbones. And then bring the hands gently down as you breathe out and bring the feet together. Gently breathe out all the way, softening the shoulders and the jaw. Then bring the backs of the hands together. Reach high as you breathe in. And then fold forward, hands to shins perhaps or to the mat, and breathe out. Lift the collarbones forward, pull the shoulders back as you inhale. And taking hands to the mat, step back into downward facing dog. Of course you can stay and rest there, but otherwise move forward into plank, perhaps on the knees. And from there smoothly lower onto your stomach and breathe out. Lift the chest and hands, reach out through the toes as you breathe in. And either stay there or raise the feet as you exhale. Taking one more breath in, pressing up into up face dog if you'd like. And then with knees and nose to the mat, move back into child's pose and exhale. As you breathe in, lift the hips, keeping the knees bent. And as you exhale, straighten the legs and return to down face dog. Take 1 or 2 calm breaths here. Try to lengthen your exhalations. And after your next out breath, raise the heels and look forward. And walk, step or float feet to the hands. Bring the backs of your hands together. Reach the arms up, stretching through to the fingers as you inhale. And second cycle, fold forward and calmly breathe out. Lift the collarbones, arch the spine as you breathe in. And with hands to the mat, step back once more to down dog, trying to alternate feet. Move forward into your version of plank or stay and rest. And smoothly lower to the stomach, try not to collapse or raise. Lift the chest and hands as you breathe in. And either stay there or lift the feet or lift to up dog. As you take one more breath in, now maybe lifting to up dog. Just hands and feet on the mat if that's your option. And then knees and nose down, moving cobra back into child's pose. From child's pose, lift the hips with knees bent. And then straightening the legs, return to downward facing dog. Again, rest there for a breath or two, softening the neck and shoulders with each exhalation. Then raise your heels, look forwards and breathe in. And bring the feet lightly to the hands. Bring the backs of the hands together, standing, reach high, stretch up and back if it feels okay. And third cycle. Fold forward and calmly breathe out. Again, lift the collarbones forward, lengthening navel to throat as you inhale. And take hands to the mat and return to downward facing dog. Rest or move forward into plank. And with control, lower down and exhale. Either come straight into up dog or lift chest and hands if you're on the stomach. And either stay there or go a little further as you breathe out. Wherever you are, take one more breath, lengthening navel to throat. And then moving cobra back to child's pose and gently exhale. As you breathe in, lift the hips high. Bring the ribs to the thighs. And then breathing out, press back through the heels, returning to down face dog. Again, take a breath or two here. Make sure there's space around the neck. And then raise the heels, look forwards and breathe in. Walk, step or float feet to hands. Bring the backs of the hands together. Reach up and maybe back as you inhale. And then hands to the heart, gently breathe out. If you're doing stomach work, 10 abdominal exhalations. Now bending your knees, coming to Utkatasana, reach the arms high. And fold the body forward and gently exhale. Lift the collarbones forward as you breathe in. And taking hands to the mat, step back to downward facing dog. From down dog, reach the right leg high as you inhale.
And then bending your right knee, turn to open to the side as you breathe out. Level the hips, reach to the right foot as you breathe in. Try to keep the back knee straight. Then step your right foot forward behind the right hand, coming into Warrior One. So as you breathe in, stand up, keep the back heel down, hips facing forward, and sink a little deeper into the front knee as you breathe out. Take one more breath in here, stretching out to the fingertips. And then lean the body forward as you exhale, ribs to thigh. Now bring the hands to the heart, take a smooth breath in, and leaning forward, raise the left leg coming into Warrior Three, or just stay lightly on the back toes. Take one more breath here. Try and arch the spine a little further. And after exhaling, step lightly back into Warrior Two. Keep the body upright and reach equally through both hands. Take one more smooth breath here. Then cartwheel the arms forward, spin the back foot, and step back into downward facing dog. Rest or move forward into plank. If you're not resting, lower to stomach or push-up. Take your version of up dog, whatever that might be, maybe just lying on the stomach. And then press back, moving cobra into child's pose and breathe out. Lift the hips as you inhale. And then press the heels back into down dog as you breathe out. Recenter body and breath just for a few moments. On your next inhalation, reach the left leg up and back, so second side. Then bend your left knee and turn out to the side as you exhale. Again, level the hips, reach to the left toes as you breathe in. And bring the left foot forward behind the left hand, spin the right heel down, preparing for a Warrior One. Reach the arms high as you breathe in. And with the hips facing forward, sink into the front knee. Take one more breath in, press to the back foot, reach to the hands. And then bring the body forward, ribs lightly touching the left thigh. As you inhale, bring the hands to the heart. And then leaning forward, raise the right leg. Try to keep the back knee straight and hips level. Arch the spine a little further as you take one more breath here. And after breathing out, step back into Warrior Two on side two. Keep the body upright so we're not leaning forward or back. Remember, the hands should be shoulder height, not face height. Take one more breath in here, maybe sinking a little deeper into the front knee, but press down through the back foot. And cartwheel the arms forward, spin the back heel as you breathe in, and step back into downward facing dog. Rest or move forward into plank. Smoothly lower down, knees, stomach or push-up. Take your up dog, whatever that might be. And make your way back through moving cobra into child's pose. And lift the hips as you breathe in. And press the heels back as you exhale. Reach the right leg high, stretching through to the toes. And step the right foot forward into a long lunge. Bring the body upright, reach through to the fingertips. And as you exhale, bring the left elbow or shoulder outside the right knee, coming into Parivrita Parsvakonasana. Remember, you can do this with the back knee down if you'd like. You can even do it spinning the back heel down if you're very open through the spine. Wherever you are, take one more breath here. And after exhaling, unravel from your twist. Take the left hand down and turning the right foot out. Start by bringing right foot to inner left thigh and right arm high. For a simpler option, right foot on the left. Either stay there or just for a breath. Raise the right leg. And after your next exhalation, gently return to downward facing dog. Settle for a breath, relax the shoulders. Now reach the left leg high as you breathe in. And step the left foot forward into a long lunge. Bring the body upright, stretch to the fingers, and then turn to the left, right elbow or shoulder outside the left knee. So again, take the variation you did on the first side, maybe back knee up, heel up, maybe knee down, maybe heel down but knee up. Do what works best for you. Keep the head centered, just revolving the spine as you take one more breath here. After breathing out, bring the hands down either side of the left foot. And gripping the right fingers, turn the right heel down, bring the left foot to inner right thigh. If that's too strong, place the left foot on the right, reach up into the left fingers. You can look up if it feels okay. And either stay there or take the left big toe and stretch the leg high. Take one more breath here. And then release back into downward facing dog. Almost done with our warm up. Rest or move forward to plank. And lower smoothly, knees, stomach or push up. Your up dog. And then back into child's pose. Lift the hips high. And then press the heels back into down face dog. Take a calm breath in here. And as you breathe out, keep the hands where they are, but lower the elbows to the mat. And either stay there or walk the feet in closer and raise one leg or both if you'd like. If you've got one leg raised, swap to the other side. And keep reaching out through from elbows to tailbone. One last breath here. Then gently lower the knees and return to child's pose, taking your hands back by your hips. Slow your breath down. Remember to keep the face and the jaw soft. After breathing out once more, gently bring the body back upright. Raise your arms, stretching high to the hands. And then interlacing fingers, press up through the palms. Take one smooth breath here, pulling the elbows further back. And then gently lower your hands. And crossing your ankles, just gently sit back. And moving into the Ta part of our class, you could say the moon or soft part of the practice, start by taking your feet comfortably wide. Now where that is for you is different for everyone. So you might be able to do almost a complete side split, Gamakasana, or you might have the feet only about 70 degrees away from each other. It really doesn't matter, but make it a comfortable wide-legged position. And start with your hands behind you. And closing your eyes. Just let the body settle here for a bit. It's important that we approach this part of the practice with a sense of maintaining comfort. So we're not pushing into our uncomfortable zone, but just staying where it's completely comfortable. And the longer we stay, the more the body relaxes. So working a little more deeply with the postures and with their effect on the body. If you feel like you have to come out of the posture ahead of time, it's just a little sign that you've gone too deeply into it from the outset.
So you're only moving deeper here if you can do so with complete comfort. So you might find that after a little while you can pull the shoulders further back, finding a little more stretch across the collarbones. Just make sure that you're not letting the legs be completely passive. So we do want to keep the sense of the knees and the toes pointing up. It should feel like you're very gently pressing down through the inner knees and out to the heels. Just hold here for a couple of extra breaths. When your mind starts to drift off, bring it back onto your breathing. And after breathing out once more, nice and slowly, just release the hands, stretch them up high for a moment. And gently bring your hands down. Turn your upper body to the right, taking your hands either side of the right knee. And you might like to just lift the hips for a moment. Sometimes it helps to free up the sit bones. Try to turn your sternum to face the right foot. And it may well be enough just to stay in an upright or relatively upright position there. But if you're really comfortable, and again you might need to lift the hips again as you do that, start to take the left hand towards the right ankle or right heel. Use the right hand just to help turn the body. And try to feel like you're moving forward from the heart, not down from the head. Let your body soften here. So again, only going further if you can do so with complete comfort. Remember that the slower you make your exhalations, the more the body will relax. Whenever your mind starts to drift off, it's important not to get frustrated, but rather to just acknowledge where it went, what distracted you, and then to simply come back to observing the rhythm of the breath and the sensations of the body, trying to maintain an inner focus, trying to maintain a sense of present. And just give yourself one or two more slow breaths here. And after your next calm exhalation, just gently bring the body back up. And you can either take the hands behind you like we did before, or you might prefer just to have the hands together in front of the heart. Take one more breath here, or two if you feel like the body's still settling. And when you're ready, take the hands either side of the left knee and just start to gently turn your sternum to face the left foot. And again, you might like to just lift the hips for a moment, freeing up the hamstring from the sit bone. Staying in that upright position is absolutely fine. There's an abdominal twist here as well as starting to stretch the hamstring and adductor, particularly of the left leg. As you start to feel more comfortable, again, you might start to bring the right hand towards maybe the calf or the ankle or maybe around the heel. Remember, the two sides of the body are rarely the same. use your practice as an opportunity to get to know all those idiosyncrasies of the body. And over time they'll balance out. But don't force the body to do something on one side just because you did on the first. Make sure you're still breathing into the belly. And always work towards lengthening your exhalations. Keep checking in that you're not shrugging your shoulders. There's always a sense of space around the neck. And let the body move only in its comfort zone. Slowly expanding that comfort zone, but not going beyond it. Go deeper not by adding more force, but rather by slowly letting go of resistance. Just the last couple of breaths here. Keep the body facing the foot. The collarbones moving forward, not just the head down. And after breathing out one more time there, you can slowly bring the body back up. Come back to center. So again, you might take the hands behind you. You might prefer to bring the hands in front of the heart. Keep the tailbone anchored down, the crown of the head lifting up. And after one more calm exhalation here, just take your right hand over to the top of the left thigh. Take your left arm up past your head and slowly start to bring your right shoulder down towards the right neck. It doesn't matter if it doesn't reach. Bring your left arm over past your head. So now we're lengthening from the left foot all the way to the left fingers. Focus on the whole side of the body. And if you can easily do so, you can bring the left hand to the right foot and gently pull the left elbow back. You might find that just very gently engaging the right arm helps you to turn the body up a little bit more. Again, keep focusing on your breath, on the sensations within the body. Wherever you are, try to keep gently bringing the left elbow back so it's in line with the rest of the body. Keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine so we're not hanging the head. Just take a little check-in that your legs are still just a little active, enough to keep knees and feet pointing up. As the body relaxes further, perhaps going a little deeper. Doesn't have to be much.
A few centimetres or even a few millimetres of movement is plenty. Just a few more breaths here. Lengthen through the side of the waist, the ribs and the shoulder. And after your next calm exhalation, again just gently release. Bring the body back up. And pause once more. You might prefer this time to take the hands down onto the shins or the knees. Once you feel the body has settled, has come back to neutral, go the other way. So bring your left hand over to the top of the right thigh. Take your right arm up past your head. And then slowly, slowly start to bring left shoulder towards left knee. Keep gently reaching out to the right heel. Again, if it's easy, you can bring the hand onto the left foot, but not essential. Acknowledge the difference in the two sides of the body, or differences. Keep slow, steady breath in the belly as well as the chest. And just going a little further as the body relaxes into the posture. If the right arm's a long way forward, just try gently pulling the elbow and the hand back. Unless you're holding your foot, make sure you're reaching all the way out into the fingertips, so the elbow is strong and straight. Maintain a sense of space around the sides of the neck, so we're not shrugging, tensing the neck. Every out breath, focus on relaxing wherever there's the most tension or resistance, wherever the sensation is the strongest. Gently turning the body up. Lengthening all the way from the right heel through to the right hand. Just the last breath or two here, nice and slow and steady. After your next exhalation, again just gently bring the body back up. And again, rest maybe hands behind you, maybe hands to the heart, maybe hands onto the shins or the knees. And once you feel the body has settled, come back to neutral. Either stay where you are, or if you feel it's okay, maybe just lift the hips for a moment, tilt the tailbone back, and start to gently bring the hands forward.
Now it's important here again that we're not just dropping the head down. It should feel like you're trying to bring the chest and stomach down and forward. Keep the hands a good shoulder width if you are moving forward. And again, let the body go slowly, staying within your comfort zone. One option here might be just to rest the chin in the hands. I find it's a nice little soft forward fold, relatively soft, where the weight of the head is supported just through the bones of the arms, no muscular effort required. And here it's easier perhaps to get a sense of the stomach moving down and forward rather than just dropping the head, because of course the head is supported in the hands. We're almost done here. I did say make sure you're in a comfortable wide-legged position. Keep bringing the mind back to the breath. Take one more slow, steady breath wherever you are. And then gently, if you've gone forward, bring the body back up. Pause for a moment there. Again, maybe hands down, maybe hands to heart, maybe hands behind you. And we've been here a while. So to release the body, take your hands back. Lean your weight into your hands, and without using your leg muscles, just slide one foot in a little bit, then the other foot in a little bit. And once you feel the stretch has gone away from the legs, just gently pick up the inner knees. With your feet pressing down, wrap your arms around your shins. And to begin with, press the knees out to the sides. And then squeeze the knees gently towards each other. And once you've done both of that, or both of those, lean back and come into Brahmandasana with eyes closed. So balancing in the cosmic egg, or the egg of the universe. Closing the eyes helps us to feel the balance point. After your next out breath, just gently open the eyes. Stay there if you're not doing stronger stomach work, but just as a little release from where we've been. If you can, cross the ankles, take the hands down, pick up the hips, keeping the feet up for a couple of breaths. And then gently lower down, cross your legs the other way, which of course is always the easy side. Squeeze the legs in towards the body and either stay there or pick up the hips. And just one more breath here. And then lower down. So moving from inner hip stretches to outer hip stretches, make your way into Gamakasana with the left leg on top. If Gamakasana is not going to happen for you, take a cross-legged position with the left leg in front. Remember, Gamakasana is sort of just an exaggerated cross leg. Take a few moments to settle yourself there. And then take the right arm up. Take the left arm down and see if you can bind your hands behind the back. Now, if you can't get a comfortable bind, remember you can use a strap or a belt or a shawl or folded towel just to make your arms a bit longer. If you've got a comfortable bind, gently press the head back into the right forearm. And make sure both sit bones feel evenly weighted. Staying upright is plenty here, particularly if you're already feeling that the hip or shoulder stretch is quite strong. If it's too strong, back off. Maybe just open the shoulder bind a little bit or come out of Gamakasana into cross-legged. If you're really comfortable, just slowly start to bring the body forward over the legs. If you're taking that again, remember the sit bones should still stay down and back. This forward position will intensify both hip and shoulder stretches. So we've just got a little bit longer here. Again, stay with steady breath, steady mind, allowing the body to relax into your chosen variation of the posture. Take one or two more breaths here. Eyes closed whenever possible, maintaining your inner focus. After your next calm out breath, gently bring the body back up. And releasing your hands from their bound position, just press the palms out wide to the sides. Lift up through the crown, pull the shoulders down, press through the palms. Take one more breath. And after breathing out, reach the arms up high, lengthen through to the fingertips, and then take a twist to the left. So taking left hand just behind your hip, and right arm outside the left knee. Try to keep the head directly over the hips. So we're not side bending or back bending or forward bending, but just revolving the spine. Keep the breath moving in the belly. So as you inhale, there's a little bit of resistance to the breath, helping to force the breath perhaps into the back of the body a little more. And as you exhale, there's just a little bit of space to perhaps go a tiny bit further, if it feels comfortable. As you turn your head to look over the left shoulder, keep the left ear a little bit raised, but the chin to the throat. Again, feel both sit bones evenly weighted, giving you an anchor, a fixed point from where the shoulders can turn. Keep bringing the mind back to the breath and to the bodily sensations. Make sure there's no tension in the face or the jaw. If there is, just back off the intensity of your posture. Just the last one or two breaths here. Lift up as you inhale, lengthening the spine,
Perhaps soften deeper into the twist as you breathe out. And after your next calm exhalation, first of all turn the head, then unravel the body. And again reach your arms up high, lengthening to the fingertips. Press up through the palms as you breathe out. Maybe raise the chin, stretch the throat, taking the elbows and hands a little further back. And then lower your hands gently down, lean back and return to Brahmandasana, making sure you put the opposite arm on top. Just think of this as again a resetting, recentering posture. Chance to relinquish effort. And after your next calm out breath, we'll take the second side. So now coming into either cross-legged right leg in front or Gamakasana right leg on top. So take a moment to settle yourself. Again, remember that the two sides are not likely to be the same. You might have already done the easy side, or this might be it. And remember, cross-legged with the right leg in front is a good alternative if Gamakasana is too strong. Once you feel that the legs, the hips are settled, take your left arm up, take your right arm down, and see if you can bind the hands on the second side. I've been working in the garden a lot, so my shoulders are a little tighter than normal. It's important that you also recognize that your body will feel different from day to day, practice to practice. Don't be attached to what you used to do or what you'd like to do. Just be accepting of where you're at right now. Remember, using a strap or some other arm extender is fine. And staying upright here is absolutely fine. But if you did on the first side, you can gently start to bring the body forward. Don't be in a hurry. Give the body time to soften and relax. By now your breath should be quite deep and slow. Helping to further relax the body. Focus on softening where you feel the most tension or the most resistance. Just the last couple of breaths here. The last little surrender into your version of the posture. After your next calm out breath, gently bring the body back up. And again, release the arms and press the palms out wide to the sides. Take it slow.
Lift the crown of the head, pull the chin to the throat. Soften the back of the neck. And after your next exhalation, reach the arms up high. And then turn to your right, taking the right hand just near your right hip and the left arm outside the right knee. Keep both sit bones anchored down as you turn the shoulders. Keep the right ear slightly raised as you turn the head. Keep the breath moving in the belly. Trying to breathe into the back and sides of the lower torso. Use each in-breath to try and lengthen between the tailbone and the crown of the head. And each exhalation to soften into the twist. Use the breath and the posture to anchor your mind in the present. Acknowledging when you become distracted but not frustrated. Just becoming familiar with the tendencies, the patterns of the mind. The places it likes to go and the places it doesn't like to go. Give yourself 1 or 2 more breaths. And after your next exhalation, just gently unravel the head first, then spine. And again, reach the arms up, lengthen from the hips into the hands. And bring your arms gently down by your sides. And release your legs. Stretch them out for a moment. And only if you're really keen to do so, roll the shoulders back, press into the hands. You can be on palms or fists. Lift the hips up high. If you're comfortable, slide the feet in and raise them as well. And then gently lower down. And come to lying down on your stomach. Rest your head on the backs of the hands. And just rock your hips gently from side to side. And with your feet hip width apart, reach out through the big toes. Lift the chest and hands, squeeze the elbows in. And then bring your elbows down and come into half cobra, Ardha Bhujangasana. Keep the shoulders moving back, the chest forward. And my preference to stay looking down, sort of between the thumbs here. So we're pulling the chin up and in towards the throat. And allowing the back of the neck to just gently lengthen out. Try to reach out through the inner line of the legs to the big toes. And as the shoulders pull back, allow the chest to slowly move forward. Make sure that you're not collapsing into the elbows and letting the shoulders shrug. Instead, keep the shoulders moving back and down. Just hold here for a last couple of breaths. If you like, you can gently rock the hips side to side. And after your next calm exhalation, just lower your body down, turn your head the opposite way,
elbows move forward and the armpits soften down towards your mat. Give the hips a little rock from side to side. And when you're ready, again bring the head to centre. Lift the chest and hands, squeezing the elbows in. And either repeat half cobra on the elbows, or now bring your hands down under the shoulders. And take full Bhujangasana. There should still be a sense of squeezing the elbows in and back. Still a sense of reaching out through the big toes. Keep the back of the neck long, the face soft. And see if you can direct the breath now into the front of the body a little bit more strongly. So you feel with each in-breath that the stretch, particularly around the top of the stomach and the low ribs, gets a little stronger. You can lift a little higher if it feels okay, but only if you're comfortable. Just a last breath or two here. On your last inhalation, you might like to hold the inhalation for a moment. And then gently release, lowering the body back down. And turn your head to the least comfortable side. And again, give the hips a little rock. Try to feel as you inhale to the belly that the breath is being pressed back towards the kidneys. And for our last arch, really our last posture, you might like to repeat half or full cobra, but if you're comfortable to do so, taking Dhanurasana, the bow posture. So easier perhaps to hold the outer ankles with the thumbs pointing down. But if you're comfortable, turn your shoulders out, holding inner ankles. So we're rolling the shoulders out. And start with your knees down. Press back through the feet to lift the chest. And again, my preference here, because most of us are tied in the back of the neck, a bit stress related, just let the head drop. And you can either stay with the knees down, or you can start to lift the feet and maybe lift the body a little higher. See if you can feel the stretch across the chest and all the way out to the hands. So we're broadening across the front of the body as well as lengthening it. Just one more breath here. This one's a bit stronger, I know. And releasing. Lower down, and again, head on the hands, elbows forward, armpits down. After your next calm out breath, just gently roll over onto your back. You might like to stretch your arms out for a moment, reaching from the feet to the fingers. And bring your arms down. Bending your legs, bring one hand onto each knee. With the knees more or less over the hips, just start to make little circles. So we're gently rolling the sacrum in little circles on the mat, helping to release any last bits of tension from the lower spine. And change direction and go the other way. From there you might like to just hug the knees in a little more tightly and maybe roll side to side a couple of times. And then once more reach out into fingers and toes, lengthen through the whole body. And bring your arms down by your sides, coming into your Shavasana position. Remember, you can take legs up the wall here in Viparita Karani if that's an option for you. If lying flat makes your lower back sore, just bend the knees and you can either pop a cushion or a bolster behind them, or maybe with the feet a little wider, let the knees drop inwards. Reach down to the fingers, moving the shoulders away from the ears. And after making any other last little adjustments, just let the body be still, accept that where you are is good enough. With closed eyes, take your inner focus into the heart space, the center of the chest. And take 5 slow, deep breaths at your own pace. Balancing the length of in-breath and out-breath. So an 8-second rhythm might be a good starting place if you know you have a longer breath cycle, 10 or 12. If your breath cycle is a little shorter, perhaps 6 or 7 is enough. But just take a few slow breaths, balancing prana and apana. In-breath and out-breath, taking in and letting go. Physical breath expanding outwards from the heart to fill the lungs, the subtle breath expanding outwards to fill the whole body. The exhalation removing carbon dioxide from the body, other cellular byproducts. The subtle exhalation, relinquishing all unnecessary thoughts, emotions, anything which doesn't pertain to the present, to here and now. And once you've taken your 5 breaths in your own time, just allow your breathing to settle into its own rhythm. Remove all sense of effort or control from that inner movement. And see if you can just observe as the breath arises and returns all by itself. Let the breath fill your awareness, all other thoughts just fading into the background. And as uninvited thoughts quietly arise in the background, just allow them to pass through your awareness, to arise and subside in the same way the breath does. Whenever you notice that you're getting distracted, you can just acknowledge what it was that took you away from that sense of observing, of presence. And after that moment of familiarization, simply come back to the breath and the little spontaneous gaps between breaths. And take these last couple of minutes
simply dissolve into the clear space of consciousness. Ever-present awareness. Coming back to rest in your true nature. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sharike Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. If you'd like to stay resting, you can do so. Once you do decide to move, do so by starting with the inner movement of breath, making it a little longer and a little deeper. After a few deeper breaths, begin to gently move your fingers and toes, bringing outward movement back to the extremities first. And when you feel ready, take your arms over your head once more, stretching from toe tips to fingertips. And gently bend your knees, roll onto your side and rest with your head on the outstretched arm for a few breaths. And when you're ready in your own time, Without rushing, come back to a comfortable seat. And give yourself a few moments with eyes closed, just to get used to being upright once more. See if you can stay connected to the stillness beneath the mind once you leave your practice space. As always, thank you very much for sharing the practice with me and allowing me to share it with you. And I look forward to sharing with you again sometime soon. Until then, namaste. Thanks very much.